Hello out there, Moms for Liberty family. It's Monday, so I'm trying to do this every Sunday, Monday when I can. Um, Lots of moving parts. As some of you are already aware, we had a almost had a snowpocalypse this weekend, which the anticipation, of course, I think we did the right thing in. Sorry, there's a lot of glare on my glasses, so I'm gonna take them off. Sorry about the bags. Um, in anticipation, I think it was a wise idea that we went ahead and postponed it. It is now being held February 7th. It is a winning workshop for candidates, focus on school board. It's mainly for school board candidates, but if other candidates are welcome to attend. Also, anyone who wants to help with the campaign, who may be interested in running, not right now, but a year or maybe a couple of years in the future. We do have some seats that are open right now. We have some seats that are going to be coming open again in 2028. So, we've got a busy year ahead of us, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on. We have the governor's race going on. We have a lot of state representatives, and as well as our county mayor is up for election, and we have our own Betsy Henderson in District 6 school board representative who is currently running for mayor. Um, Moms for Liberty does not endorse in any campaign other than school board campaigns, but we can make recommendations and suggestions, and we can help vet other candidates too. But our focus is on school board because that is what our primary mission is about. That's empowering, educating, and unifying parents to fight for their parental rights at all levels of government. So that goes from the local school board all the way up to the federal government. So there's lots of things going on. I think, sorry, our state legislature is back in session as of last week. Of course, their session is being delayed this week because of the weather. But there are some education bills that are coming up, and I'm going to, um, let's share my screen real quick if I can find the button for that. Let's see. I might need to put my glasses back on. There it is. Share my screen. So we're going to do that. I'm going to share that so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to put these back on since you're not looking at my face, you're looking at the screen. Okay, HB 1729 does not have a Senate companion bill, so this bill may be dead in the water, as it was introduced by Representative Slater, who is from Sumner County, I do believe. Um, he's introduced a homeschooling bill. So all of you parents out there that are homeschooling, this is what he is doing. He believes that some parents are not fit to teach their children at home. And granted, there's always bad apples in the bunch, but they are going to be requiring, if this bill passes, that all students be tested on this classic learning test, but also that they be turned into the state or the local school director of schools if they do not make a certain grade on this. So I'm gonna switch to another screen here, and we're gonna go to the Capitol, and we're going to look at this bill. These is how you go. You go to capital.tn.gov. If you ever want to look up anything, you can do two things. You can browse bills by subject, so you can click on the subject and you can go to education because that is what I focus on, and you can click on that or any one of these particular bills. But I already know this bill is 1729, so that is what I'm going to look for. So I'm going to do by index, and HB 1729 is right in here. Right there. It has been signed to the K-12 subcommittee. Obviously, they are not going to be meeting this week because they are delayed. It does not have any co-sponsors at this point. That doesn't mean someone will not sign on to that. The summary that's not available because it's not complete. It's my understanding they are also waiting on an amendment for this bill. We're not sure how that is going to work out, but this bill will basically require them. Here's the wording of the bill. Click on the bill number. Requires them to take a standardized test that's selected by the parent teacher that provides nationally normed analytics. Same state board approved standardized test required of public schools in the same grade as a parent teacher student as that that student that is administered by the Commissioner of Education or Commissioner's designee or a professional testing service. Um, all results from a test must be provided to the parent, the director of schools, and the State Board of Education. If a homeschool does not test proficient in subject matter tested pursuant to the subdivision in this, they would be scoring a level rating of approaching in the subject matter, depending on where their test scores are at, or below 50th percentile, but above 25th. Anything that is below that 25th percentile is going to have an issue. They can re-administer the test within 1 year. They can consult with a teacher licensed by the State Board of Education and having a certificate in that grade level or subject matter. If a homeschool student completes the requirements of subdivision in the same matter 2 consecutive test administrations and he was not diagnosed as learning disabled, then the director of schools may require the parent to enroll the student in a public, private, or church-related school in accordance. So what will happen is if your student is not proficient in math, for example, and he scores below the 25th percentile, they can retest. But if he continues to score low, and a lot of kids, especially boys, learn at their own rate. And some kids may not be proficient in math early on, but they may pick up that proficiency later on, and they just may never be proficient in math. They're going to require you to stick them in public school. Or if you have the money, you can put them in a private school. Or if you have the money, you can put them in a church-related school, because both of those cost money. So if you don't have the funding, the income to provide to put your child in a private school, and many private schools may not take students who are that far behind, or a church-related school, then you're going to be forced to stick them in public school. So I have issues with that, as do many other parents that I'm aware of. One of the things you can do with these bills is that these are the list of bills that I'm following. So on education, there's quite a few. The meetings obviously here have been canceled. This tells you where these are at. These are all the bills that I'm looking at right now. There will be things that will be added on. Some of them have Senate sponsors, some of them don't. So those that don't get Senate sponsors will be deleted. Everything from HB 0707, which allows a third grade student who achieves a performance level of approaching on the English and the ELA portion of the student's most recent TCAP. He could be promoted to 4th grade if promotion is recommended by a majority. So that's, they talked about holding them back in 3rd grade if they don't meet certain proficiencies. Also, this prohibits the school from using public funds to have a membership with an association that regulates interscholastic athletics by Scott Sapicki, and I believe that's Elaine Davis. So, no, that's a different one. That's the menstrual hygiene products. That's Elaine Davis right there. That's Scott Sapicki with Adam Lowe is the Senate sponsor on that one. This one is also requires LEAs to publish character education curriculum on the LEA's website. I can support that. No Pride no Pride Flag or Month Act. There is no Senate sponsor on that yet. If there is not, then it'll be effectively killed this year. This one, 1511 by Sapicki, also has a Senate sponsor. It clarifies that local education agencies, LEAs, shall instruct students about the formation of governments of the United States and Tennessee using the federal and state foundational documents such as the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. Wow, what a concept. Yeah. At the appropriate grade level and consistent with social studies. We have 1917 Society here in Tennessee that they focus on getting constitutions in the hands of all 4th and 8th graders. They're focused on 8th graders right now. And once we get that going on Constitution Day every year, which is September 17th. So, and this year we will be working with them and assisting them in getting these in our public schools. And I believe I can get some of our school board members, especially if we get some new ones voted in, that will work with us to help us and assist in getting those in our 8th graders' hands in our public schools, all of our public schools in Knox County. This one, 1466 by Sapicki, and I believe that's Bo Watson. Maybe not. requires each LEA to administer the presidential fitness test to students to assess their strength, endurance, and flexibility. I would have to find out more information about that before I can support that because it just seems a bit much. And this one, also, here we are going above and beyond what constitutionally allowed to do. It's not up to the school system. And I know a lot of kids have gone to school hungry. I've done it myself. Um, I love the fact that, they had breakfast and lunch programs when my kids were in school as well as when I was in school. But this requires them to establish a school lunch program and a breakfast program that provides free breakfast and lunch. Um, it is the parents' responsibility to make sure that their students, and it may seem harsh for me to say that, but it biblically and constitutionally, it is the parents' responsibility to make sure that their child has a breakfast and a lunch. Some kids just don't eat breakfast. They just don't want to. They're not, I don't eat breakfast. It's usually I'm up 2 or 3 hours before I even bother to eat something. I have my cup of coffee and I move on. But there's ways. There's ways. Okay. Um, but I'm not going to strenuously object to this bill. If it passes, then it passes and it is what it is. 1498 requires each LEA and charter school to implement a computer-based system that must be used by teachers and schools have to collect data of early warning signs. I have issues with collecting data on students. Yeah, I have a lot of issues with data collection on students. And if I were any parent, I would have issues with that too. HB 1527 requires public schools, LEAs, and charter schools to provide instruction in child trafficking awareness and prevention to students in grades kindergarten through 12. Hey, what's wrong with the stranger danger? But instead you have teachers and staff who are encouraging kids to keep secrets from parents in regards to their gender identity. But if someone approaches them with the intention of trafficking, it's okay to tell the parents that. So it's confusing for kids. But the stranger danger, that was a great program when I was growing up. It was a great program when my kids were in school. You don't go off with strangers. It's simple. I think parents need to be educated in awareness and signs and symptoms of something wrong and something that may be happening to their child, as well as this. So, um, HB 1491, the Protecting Religious Liberty and Expression in Public Schools Act. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's by Gina Volso. Um, it's pretty self-explanatory. The only issue I have is that I think we need to be careful with that. I believe students need to be able to pray in school, whether they're a Christian or whatever. But I think like for example, we'll say the Muslim prayer, where they pray umpteen times a day, and they have to go out and lay on mats and put the mats out, and then it's very disruptive. So I'm not sure how that's going to pan out, but I would like more information on that too before. Um, Battling Davis 1550 expands the prescribed forms of epinephrine that an LEA or non-public school is authorized to administer when a student is believed to experience life-threatening allergic or anaphylactic reactions. Yeah, I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's pretty simple. 1658 requires persons seeking the first issuance of a practitioner teacher license or practitioner occupational teacher license to receive a passing score on the civics test. What a concept. Yeah, you had to know civics in order to teach kids. I think that's amazing. I love it. In order to obtain their license, I think every teacher in our public school system that is serving right now needs to go and take a civics test in order to keep their license. There you go. HB 1666 includes honorifics in the prohibition of requiring a student, teacher, employer, contractor. Okay. Here's what's happening with that. As we know, students and teachers are not required by law to honor a student's or teacher's pronouns. So a teacher goes in there and says, I am she, they, him. I've actually seen that one. Yeah, she, hey, them. She, they, him. Okay. Um, so if students aren't required to call her, him, or her, they, but that female teacher may require them to call her Mr. So I think that's where this is going. This is kind of expanding on the gender related um, situation where you're being required to call a male teacher Miss or Mrs. or a female teacher Mr. So I'm absolutely in support of that. Also by Mayberry, 1665, it prohibits a healthcare provider from asking certain gender-related questions to a minor unless the parent is physically pregnant, present, and fully informed and provides written consent to such questions. I have heard stories about students being taken out of the room to have their vital signs done. I'm an LPN. I work in a family practice clinic. When I go get a child and take them back to the room, mom or dad or both is coming with me, and I'm taking their vital signs right there in front of them. And they'll ask me, sometimes they'll ask me what their vital signs are, sometimes they don't. I always tell them. So there you go. It'll ask me if they're normal, and I'm like, yeah, and I'll tell them if they're not. Um, but at any rate, so there is that. I'm 100% behind that. And there's like I said, there's a long list. So these are things that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. What's going on? I'm not gonna go through all the rest of them because this is gonna be last forever if I do that. So that's what's going on in our legislature. Now let's go to for your children for that one. We're gonna go to our Moms for Liberty. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, wrong one. There we go. There's our group. And we're going to go to events. Winning workshop. Nope. Go back. Go forward. Life is so interesting. Anyway. Anyway. I know this says registration is ended. And we have updated it, but it has not. It really has not. Um, they're working on getting that. So anyway, winning workshop. Yay. February 7th. This is the 1997-24 Kingston Pike Suite 1000. It will begin at 10 a.m. I'm excited. It will go on until 2. We will be providing lunch and refreshments, drinks and lunch. So, but these are, I mean, this is what we're going to be learning here. Is we're calling all candidates, all campaigns, all chapters in the area. Blount County will be joining with us, so they're having some of their people will be coming over and taking this course also. So since they are our neighbors, Hamilton County just had a winning workshop last Thursday. I'm excited because I think it went well. And then can't remember if it's Williamson. I think maybe Williamson County that's going to be hosting one very soon also. So it's very exciting. And this is everything here. This is talking points. This is platforms. This is attacks. How to deal with those attacks because you're going to get them. I mean, we get them all the time. Um, Talking to voters at the door, getting out the vote, fundraising, budgeting to win. That's huge. You get all this money, you do all this fundraising, but what do you do with the money? Now, some campaigns have campaign managers and they have treasurers, and a lot of times the candidate doesn't have anything to do with how that money is spent. That's what their campaign manager has got their treasurer doing for them. So they're the ones that determine how much goes out for signs, how much goes out for t-shirts, how much goes out for mailings and all of that. So that if you're a chapter member, if you're a like-minded group who just wants to win. So I'm encouraging, our Knox for Liberty folks and other folks to come and join us too. Candidates running for local office. So if you're running for county commission, mayor, any other of the other seats, you're absolutely welcome to attend. And those who just want to understand what campaigning is all about, like you said, you might think you might want to run in a year or two. So there's just a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things going on. Erica Sheets is coming down. She's our national political director, and she's absolutely amazing. And I mean, we got from previous attendees, this is some of the feedback that was received from that. So this is absolutely what Becky Luhop says right there. These are tools that will give candidates a leg up. And it's really critical, especially in this day and age, when some people think that all they need to do is just go full court press on social media And that's how they're going to win this campaign because they're going to reach everybody on social media. Well, as we know, social media, it stifles our voices. It stifles conservative voices. It stifles Moms for Liberty voices. So when I post something in the group, a lot of times I'll go back a week later and I saw 10 people saw that post. I'll do the at everyone thing, which some people have issues with. They don't want me to do it, but guess what? I do that, and maybe out of 500 people in the group, 100 people saw it that time. So this is what's going on. You cannot win a campaign just by social media. Even if you're using Facebook, X, Truth Social, Instagram, you reach more from Instagram than you do from Facebook and any of the other social media platforms. So it's important if you really, really want to get your knowledge increased, to learn more, to know how to win the election that you're campaigning in. This is great, great, great information. You can take it and it's usable information and it's going to be hands-on. So we're asking you, bring your laptop. We've got a campaign kit. So once you're registered, you will have access to the campaign kit. You download it, you bring your laptop with the campaign kit, and this is free to all Moms for Liberty members. So if you're not a member yet, please click sign up now. If you're not a member, registration is $30. We will not accept cash at the event, so if you need to prepay, you need to pre-register. If you would like to join, our membership is $25, so you're going to save money there. If you're already a member, you don't have to be a voting member. It's $25 for a voting member. If you don't want to be a voting member and you just want to join our chapter, it is absolutely free. For associates is the term used for the voting members, which has paid membership fees. Anybody else, if you just want to join the chapter just to find out what's going on, just to be to be with us, then that is absolutely free. So what do you have to lose? So we ask if you have access to, if you're running a campaign or a candidate, we ask that you bring your voter data with you. It's not hard to get. You can get it from the county election commission. It's $40 for the CD drive, the CD thing you can get. I think it's still on CD. It might be on a drive by now. I'm not sure. But the kit contains everything you need for the campaign. We will have brunch food and beverages, business casual. If you got a Moms for Liberty t-shirt, absolutely welcome to wear that. But we will not be selling merchandise. So, and also if you would rather, I would recommend bringing a pen and tablet anyway, because sometimes it goes so fast and it's easier just to write it down. For me, it's easier to write it down. So anyway, this is what's going on. I'm excited. I think there's a lot of moving parts. So let me see if I can go over here and stop sharing my screen. Stop share. Okay, there we go. So that's what's going on in Moms for Liberty. It is a week from Saturday, so it is just less than 2 weeks away for that winning workshop. Our very first meeting will be the week after that. It will be February 12th. It will be at the same location that we're having the winning workshop. So it's 9724 Kingston Pike, Suite 1000. Look for the signs. I'll have signs down right off Kingston Pike with an arrow pointing in the right direction. So just look for the signs and there'll be a sign on the door when you get there. It's going to be a very casual meeting. I'm going to give you some information, some things that are going on. But it's going to be very casual, so we'll be having lots of question and answer sessions. I've invited Steve Triplett from school board, our current school board member from District 7. He is my school board representative, and I'm excited. I met with him last week, and he's going through our endorsement process. So we just have to finish up on that, and we'll see if we vote him in to endorse him as our very, very, very first endorsed chapter member, endorsed candidate. He's also running again for re-election, so I think finding out from him what's going on in the schools and what he's been doing behind the backgrounds, because I've found a lot of stuff that's going on in the backgrounds that's good for us that he has been able to work on and implement, and it's really informational. So I encourage you all to come and listen to Steve and just get to know each other. It's going to be kind of Valentine's Day themes. It's Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is 2 days after that. If you don't have anybody to watch the kids, bring them. We love kids. I'll I'll have some games and some things for them to do, some coloring books, and I've got some American Liberty minded coloring books with crayons, and there'll be things for them to do too. So anyway, this is what's going on. I hope you guys have a wonderful week and stay safe and warm because it is going to be below freezing all week for the most, well, I'll say maybe one day, but stay warm. Love all you guys, and we'll see you on the flip side.